Hi everyone, tonight I'm going to be showing you a technique that I learned out of Tim Holtz's book, A Compendium of Curiosities, and I was lucky enough to get a signed copy. This is Mary Odonata Creations, Creativity is the Window to the Soul, Tim Holtz, 2010. And in this technique, I'm going to be using a piece of medium weight chipboard that I cut out with my Sizzix die. It's a tag die. Tim Holtz's Distress Embossing ink, Ranger ink daubers in pitch black and cloudy blue. I'm going to be using the same stamp that Tim Holtz demonstrated this technique in from his stamp collection. And also you're going to need some clear embossing powder. It doesn't have to be the fine, but I like to use the fine embossing powder. And my heat tool. My heat it tool. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is shake up your paint dauber and paint your surface. It doesn't have to be chipboard. It can be grunge board or grunge paper. Although grunge paper, when you heat it, tends to curl a little bit. So I like to use the medium weight chipboard. And as long as it's a smooth surface that you're using their paint dauber on, it's not going to ruin the tip. I wouldn't suggest rubbing back and forth on any rough surface with the paint daubers. Okay. I have my black coat of pitch black paint on there. I'm going to dry it. And it dries very fast. That's what I love about acrylic paint. Let me get this all dry. And it has to be totally dry because you're going to emboss. And if you don't have it totally dry, your embossing powder is going to stick all into the paint. And you don't want that. Okay. Feels pretty dry to me. I'm going to take my stamp and ink it up with the embossing ink. And this technique has a really cool effect, you'll see. I'm going to stamp it on here. I don't know if you can see that. Then I'm going to take my embossing powder and I'm just going to move that around, get all the excess off. I'm tapping it. That's why I like to keep my embossing powder in these containers. If any extra stuck on there anywhere, you can just kind of wipe it off. You can take a brush, whatever. And since it's going to be like a shabby chic distress look anyway, if you have a little extra on there, it's no big deal. Okay. And this, I'm going to dry our embossing powder. I'm going to cool it off because you're going to be applying your cloudy blue paint dauber or whatever color you choose. And this technique always works better when you start off with a black color. Okay. So now I'm going to shake this and apply it on. And just dab it a little to get more paint on there. Totally cover it. You don't have to put a thick coat on there. Just enough to cover it. And then what you're going to need is paper towel. And I don't have my mini mister handy, so I'm just going to use my sprayer. And just give it a second or two to sit. And then you can start rubbing over the image, the embossed image. And embossing powder resists the paint, so rub as much as you want on here. If you want to lighten up the other part of the paint, you can. Then you end up with something that looks like this. It's really shabby chic. So I hope this helps somebody out there, and thanks for watching. Bye.